KUAM News Headlines is presented by Calvo's Insurance, serving Guam for 80 years. Matson and the Adahi Tanu program. Cars Plus, visit today during our spring sales event. IP&E, fueling excellence. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it, and King's Restaurant, located in Tamuning and Dededo. Always open, always local.
Coming up on Prime Time, a man arrested for kidnapping over the weekend and accused of a heinous crime against a minor has a rap sheet as a known sex offender. The shocking backstory of Paul Moffness Jr. coming up. Also tonight, Sumo's story. One family deals with the grief after the loss of their beloved pet dog, who they say was shot to death. And also tonight, the island economy should surge with Golden Week arrivals expected to be at an all-time high. Hafide and good evening, everybody. We are on KUAM TV8 and broadcasting live on streaming media. Thanks so much for tuning in, because one man allegedly admitting that he's sexually assaulting female minors is an addiction of his that he cannot resist. 53-year-old Paul Moffness Jr. appeared in Superior Court this afternoon, charged with multiple counts of kidnapping and criminal sexual conduct. Our Sabrina Salas-Matanani has our top story.
Court documents state he allegedly admitted to kidnapping a 10-year-old girl last Thursday in Tamuning and then sexually assaulting her. Moffness lured her into his vehicle and then took her to an abandoned parking lot, held her at gunpoint, told her to take off her clothes, and sexually abused her. He then dropped her off near Tamuning Elementary School.
You are charged with the following 4 offenses. The first is first-degree criminal sexual conduct. As a first-degree felony, 2 counts. There is a special allegation of a vulnerable victim, 2 counts, and a special allegation of possession of a deadly weapon in the commission of a felony, 2 counts.
Moffness was arrested late Saturday evening by Criminal Investigation Division agents.
Mr. Moffness, do you have a comment?
No. Moffness is a level 1 sex offender. In May 1999, he pleaded guilty to multiple counts of kidnapping and criminal sexual conduct. There were 4 victims in that case. He was sentenced to 27 years. In February 2014, he was granted parole for 5 years, which means his parole would have ended this year. However, instead, the Guam Parole Board granted him early discharge, or cut his parole short, in January 2018. Michelle Titano is the board chairperson.
Usually when folks come before the parole board, they've changed, they've taken classes, they've taken programs, and they've made steps. That's what they're supposed to do, right? It's the Department of Corrections. So they've made steps to improve and not, don't have those same, they weren't the same people that they were when they went in. And, they of course tell us, yeah, they've changed. And we do our best to make the best decision. Unfortunately, this is really sad. It really affects not just me. I'm sure the other board members are, disheartened about it too. We can't guarantee people's, actions, reactions. But we just have to pray. Pray for the family. I've been praying for the family of this. Of the individual involved, and I pray that, gosh, what do we pray? Just pray for healing and that our processes will just get better holistically as a community. DOC definitely needs more programs so that we can really address some of these issues that, whether it's not just drug and alcohol, but definitely we have, you need some treatment to address some of these criminal sexual conduct cases that come before the judges, and then of course they're sentenced to go and serve. We need treatment for that, and we have very few treatments for that.
According to court documents, Moffness said sexually assaulting little girls was an addiction he can't resist. Judge Michael Berdalio said he was a danger to the community and set bail at $250,000. Moffness is scheduled to return to court for a preliminary hearing on April 25th. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Sabrina Salas-Matanani.
Now, it's important to know that it was actually July of 2018 when Moffness received early discharge from parole, not January of that year. His parole was actually cut short for notable conduct. Additionally, according to parole board documents, Moffness completed all the required programs to make him eligible for parole. Parole board members did reach out to the 4 victims before granting his parole. However, they were only able to reach 2 and only 1 responded. That 1 victim opposed his release. In other news tonight, police are asking for the public's help in locating a pair of suspects in separate robberies on Sunday. The first occurred at around 3 in the morning as a man was walking to work along San Antonio near the Baltej Pavilion in Tamuning when he was held at gunpoint. That suspect is described as possibly local, having a slim build, wearing a red shirt, a fitted cap, having a rag over his face with khaki cargo shorts and long socks. The second robbery occurred hours later at the Barragata Shell gas station at the Tri intersection in that village. The suspect walked in, pulled out a gun, and demanded cash. The employees ran out when he got away with an undetermined amount of cash. He is described as also being possibly local with a slim build and a dark complexion. He was wearing a brown hooded sweater and beige pants. Anyone with any information could call Guam Crime Stoppers. Their number is always 477-HELP. That is 477-4357. Well, the Chamber of Commerce and other news will oppose any increase in the island's minimum wage. Chamber President Catherine Castro says a hike will mean that companies will be forced to hire few staffers and put off any business expansion or improvements. Senator Jocelyn Augustine is seeking public input on raising the minimum wage by $1 from its $8.25 level by next January. He says corporations got a 14% break under the Trump tax reforms, and that's not filtering down to employees. But Castro says those savings have been offset by local tax hikes.
Since the last minimum wage, we have had a BPT increase. We have implemented the tax law. We have a recent real estate taxes that have gone up for real properties of $1 million and more. All of these things, when you combine them all together, they're going to impact the consumer. You can't just continue to tax the people, and the government has to do its part too. They need to cut, and they have to make hard decisions, and it seems like the only ones who are doing that is the business community.
She says the chamber will be organizing its opposition and will push for an economic impact study to be done. Meanwhile, in an interview with KUAM, Governor Lulian Guerrero says she supports a minimum wage increase if businesses are given enough time to plan for it. Well, fortunately, not much congestion to speak of on tax day, as today was the deadline, being April 15th, to file income tax returns, and our friends at Rev & Tax, specifically Director Daphne Shimizu, said things went smoothly. She says the lines at the various filing locations were not very long, and taxpayers seemed to be, quote, moving quite quickly. Shimizu says additional staff were stationed at their counters to assist filers, with the agency also accepting non-cash transactions at the center courts of the Micronesia Mall in Dededo and downtown at the Yagana Shopping Center. Payments were also being accepted at the Treasurer of Guam. Well, also tonight, a very disturbing story as a family is currently in mourning and looking for answers as their beloved dog was shot and killed in cold blood. Chris Barnett has more on the story of Sumo.
They wandered off Friday in the Machechi area, with owner Dave Silva saying the family vet told him Sumo was shot at close range with a small caliber bullet, possibly from a rifle. Well, Silva tells KUAM News Sumo bled out about 200 yards from the family home.
My hope is that he didn't suffer, but the people who were left behind are suffering.
Dave Silva fighting back tears as he shared what it was like to find a member of his family dead under the mango tree. He's offering a $5,000 reward for information leading to the arrest and conviction of Sumo's killer.
If you shot my dog, come clean. Admit to it. I'm a God-fearing person, and I could find forgiveness, but I think that the justice system should do its job and take care of that. I've got a little girl and a wife that feel 50 times more painful feelings than I do, and I've got to answer to them. So I have to do the right thing and find the person that did this to our family member.
It's illegal to shoot a dog unless you're defending yourself or your livestock from attack, but Silva says Sumo was well behaved and didn't deserve to die.
Sometimes I come home and sit in the garage and think, and he would come and on a regular basis put his head on my lap. And if he was a guy, I would imagine that would be the same as putting his arm around you and patting you on the back. He was a good friend.
For Guam's News Network, Chris Barnett reports.
Well, if you happen to have any information on Sumo or who his killer might be, you can call, again, Guam Crime Stoppers. Their number, once again, 477-HELP. That's 477-4357. Or Dave Silva, who you just heard from, he said that asks that you contact him directly. His number is 777-2668. That's 777-2668 for Dave. All right, please stay tuned. There is much more Island News headlines coming up.
There are more ways to experience Guam via KUAM News, giving you what you want, when you want, and how you want it. From smart devices, Alexa, what's in the news?
Here's your flash briefing.
Over the web, on mobile, on streaming platforms, with immersive, interactive formats, and via social media where it's more than just content, it's conversation. More ways to keep you informed and entertained whenever you want it, wherever you are, on whatever device you're using.
A simple handshake. That's all Jake Calvo needed when he started his company. Today, 80 years later, we like to say thank you to all of you who have taken our hand in trust. Thank you to the dreamers. Thank you to the realists. Thank you to the family-oriented. Thank you to the entrepreneurial. Thank you to those climbing the corporate ladder. And to the ones starting a new life together. Thank you to the traditionalists and the edgy. To the young at heart and the old souls. Thank you to the daring, to the protective, to the practical. Thank you to the hopeful. To all of you from all of us, our deepest, happiest, and infinite thanks.
80 years here for you. 80 years thanks to you. Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust.
The next generation Galaxy has arrived. See it and believe it. The Infinity O displays the most innovative Galaxy screen yet. Capture the wider world. Take stunning photos with a 123-degree field of vision. Use your phone to charge other wireless charging devices. Don't just stand out, stand apart.
Looking for a great deal on a new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram? Then get to Cars Plus in Mighty now for our spring sales event. Like a new Jeep Compass Sport, $166 per paycheck. Or a new Chrysler Pacifica LX, $220 per paycheck. Or save $8,500 on a new Ram 1500. How about a new Jeep Wrangler Sport? Only $274 per paycheck. Low 1.99% financing is available on approved credit. Save thousands during our spring sales event going on now at Cars Plus in Mighty. Cars Plus, driven by you.
Ruby Tuesday's Seafood Sensations menu is back. Choose from your favorite dishes made with succulent lobster tail, shrimp, or our newest sensations with crab legs. Try out appetizers like crab fondue or stuffed shrimp. Pick an entree like the lobster tail or crab leg dinner. Select the lobster or the deep sea pasta. It's all ready and waiting for you. Get hooked on Seafood Sensations for a limited time only at Ruby Tuesday Guam.
Afternoon, welcome back to Primetime, everybody. Your senators are on the lookout for the Lou and Josh Transition Fund Report, which was not submitted to the legislature. Our Chris Barnett follows up on what appears to be a violation of law committed by the Leongoro administration.
KUAM News breaking the story of the Lou and Josh Transition inauguration account. Basically, a $666,000 glorified slush fund made up of private donations from businesses and individuals. A review of the documents we FOIA'd show payments made to prominent Lou and Josh supporters like Johnny Cool, Autospot, and even the Maga Haga getting a check for $4,000. According to Guam law, the Transition Committee is supposed to submit a copy of this fund's donations and expenses to the legislature no later than 30 days from the swearing-in date of the new administration on January 7th. Fast forward 3 months after Lou and Josh were sworn in, no transition fund report submitted to senators. Some senators saying they didn't even know the fund existed, especially since Lou and Josh transition officials neglected to mention it during their report to the legislature on February 21st.
I only learned about it through the news, and when they reported to us, they didn't include any financial documents, so I would like to take a look at that. I don't think we received that at the legislature.
The fund, according to Adelup officials, used to buy new carpets, furniture, and conduct renovations to Government House in Adelup. A laundry list of donations accepted and purchases made after the $417,000 bill for the inauguration was paid. Lou and Josh kept taking donations and spending them. After inauguration, the committee spent $250,000 on catering, computers, and a $20,000 check cut to the Bank of Guam. But none of this information made it to the legislature.
There's a specific requirement in the law that the financials should be part of it.
Meanwhile, Speaker Tina Muñoz Barnes tells us that the transition hearing on February 21st was recessed and that the Trans Committee still has an opportunity to submit the report to senators, even if, as it stands now, not turning in the report violates Guam law.
The law says they're supposed to turn it in with the transition report.
I understand that. Because we did the first component of the presentation, there were still several items that were not completed, and that we have to have a second hearing to complete the Transition Committee report.
But Speaker Barnes seemed to shrug off the fact the fund report was not submitted, basically saying, go ask Guadalupe.
As far as the transition funds, I would leave that up and yield up to the administration to share why the report hasn't been provided to the legislature.
Should the people be confident that the Democrat supermajority is going to hold the Democrat administration accountable in areas like this?
Most definitely.
Meanwhile, Guadalupe Comms Director Janela Carrera says of the $666,000 raised by the Transition Committee, only $700 remains. That money will be deposited in the general fund. For Guam's News Network, Chris Barnett reports.
Guadalupe issued a statement saying the Trans Fund report was submitted, but just not to the legislature, like Guam policy states. That statement said, quote, the Transition Committee expense report was sent to the Department of Revenue and Taxation and the Department of Administration. We realize, it continues, it was not included in the report to the legislature. This will be corrected prior to the legislature reconvening their oversight of the transition report. Elsewhere tonight, tourism officials are bracing for a record single-week surge in Japanese arrivals. The airport and the Visitors Bureau held a news conference to announce preparations for what they say will be the best ever Golden Week. Nestor Lecanto has this next story.
Some 11,000 additional visitors from Japan are expected to flock to Guam from April 27 to May 3rd. That's about 1,000 more tourists a day. 68 charter flights have been booked compared to just 7 a year ago. The expected economic impact, $15.4 million. Golden Week is typically a busy holiday travel period for the Japanese, but GVB President Pilar Leguana explains that this year's 10-day straight observance will be boosted by the rare transition of Japanese royalty.
The emperor is going to be handing down his power to his son, and so it's a huge celebration. No time in history did that ever happen. Usually they turn over power once somebody passes on, but it is going to be quite unique this year, and for the people of Japan to see a young emperor come into power, and it is a great celebration for the people of Japan.
The Airport and Visitors Bureau are getting ready for the huge week-long surge. GIAA is adding more staff to assist arriving passengers in the immigration and customs queues, and both CBP and Guam Customs are adjusting personnel to meet the expected crunch. GVB is also sprucing up the tourist district by painting medians and crosswalks, and has hired additional maintenance to make sure key park restrooms are clean. Security will also be beefed up with more private guards patrolling the Tumon area, and Leguana is calling on the public to also help welcome the visitors.
We hope also that our community is also mindful that we have a lot of guests on island, and if we can just do our part in making sure that they're here to enjoy a good time, to have a safe time while they're here.
For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
Well, a heads up to our friends in the central part of the island. Please do not be alarmed if you happen to hear gunfire in Radio Barrigada early Tuesday. The Army will be conducting routine training, which includes firing off blanks at the old Admiral Nimitz Golf Course. Meanwhile, the Air Force will be training at Warning Area 517, located in waters south of Guam and extended southwest into international waters. The military says the area supports surface and aerial gunnery, missiles, and laser exercises. The ocean training will take place on the 16th through the 18th from 8 to 10. All are advised to stay clear of the area during that time. Well, a joint public hearing was held on a pair of bills that would benefit autism services locally. Senators Therese Terlahi and Jocelyn Augustine co-sponsored Bills 66 and 68, increasing the age qualification and insurance cap for autism treatment and provide $150,000 for the Guam Autism Center. There was emotional testimony down at the Congress Hall as parents of autistic children talked about funding for treatment running out.
The thought of reaching this point is frightening. It would be at this time consideration to reduce Eli's ABA hours and or completely withdraw him from the center will be made as to avoid our family from sinking into a financial black hole.
Meanwhile, Terlahi says the age and insurance funding caps for autism treatment would be expanded, and the funding would mean less off-island travel for as many as 800 children affected by autism locally.
We've seen some of the students, and we've been able to meet them through these outreach events, but so some of these students have really come a long way due to the efforts of DOE, CEDARS, the early intervention programs, but there's new behavioral therapy that's becoming the standard now, so we wanted to make sure that's also on Guam.
The now veteran policymaker says technical training for new autism behavioral therapy takes 6 months, and the funding will help train more technicians. Okay, obviously I can't see what you're doing, but I know you're dancing to that. That was a Gate Theater in conjunction with Father Dueñas, proudly presenting the Guam premiere of Mamma Mia, set to, of course, the music of ABBA. And fall in love with the joy and celebration of the multi-award-winning movie and Broadway smash hit musical directed locally by Ernest DeChoco. Here's Riley Ludsford, who plays Bill Austin.
This story is really versatile. It touches a lot of different generations of people. You know, single moms it touches, you know, people like me in their 30s that don't even have kids. You know, it touches us too. It kind of helps us think about what would that be like if you were in that situation, if you like had a kid you didn't know about. So just it kind of makes you think while you're enjoying it.
You can catch a show on the 25th through the 27th at 7:30 in the evening or on the 28th at 3 in the afternoon. All shows are at the Phoenix Center in Mingilao. Tickets are $20 for general admission, and VIP seats are only $50. They can be purchased at Tango Theaters, at Father Dueñas, any Circle K 76 station, and Triple J Auto Group. For more information, call 482-0497. Well, please stay tuned. There is much more coming up, including your birthday shoutouts.
How can you make McDonald's hot and deliciously juicy Quarter Pounder even more delicious? One word: bacon. The new fresh beef Quarter Pounder Bacon or Deluxe. 2 new ways to leave you speechless. Pair it with any size soft drink for just $1. What do you get when you add lettuce and tomato to McDonald's hot and deliciously juicy fresh beef Quarter Pounder? You get fresh on fresh on fresh. The new fresh beef Quarter Pounder Deluxe or Bacon. 2 new ways to leave you speechless. Pair it with any size soft drink for just $1.
Make every day a plus.
MTO, professional janitorial services with a warm hospitality touch. MTO gives that gift year-round. Pressure wash roofs, pressure wash driveways, lawn service, home cleaning, carpet restoration, office cleaning, commercial window cleaning, floor care. When cleaning is in order, MTO has you covered. Call 647-6861 to inquire on how you can receive the maintenance you deserve.
MTO, celebrating 30 years with you, Guam.
KUAM Sports is presented by Triple J.
What's up, Guam? Dave Delgado here for KUAM Sports. Thanks for watching. Tiger Woods is back, looking good in that green jacket. I'll get to that in just a bit. But first off, news on the United Airlines Guam Marathon. Check it out. The 2019 United Airlines Guam Marathon set a new record for number of participants at this year's race. Thousands of runners took to the course in the marathon, half marathon, 10K, and 5K race distances. Island residents made up about 56% of the numbers. Japan was well represented with 20%, and registration numbers from Korea increased to 17%.
So we've got over 4,000 runners this year. We started out before the expo with just over 3,900, got a good surge at the expo. So 4,000 runners from 20 different countries, nearly evenly split international runners with resident runners. So great turnout for this year's event. Yeah, you know, this year's race we did the UGM Big Draw. So we did a huge raffle down at the expo. Great result from that. Everybody won a lot of great prizes, so a lot of fun with that. This year we've reconfigured some things down here. We've got some additional entertainment options down in the park, and of course we always finish with the traditional Tumon Bay dip. So, you know, weather's cooperating, beautiful day today, and good turnout. Everything's going really well.
Japan swept the marathon race, finishing 1, 2, 3. Yoshiki Nakamura finished first with a time of 2 hours, 32 minutes, 31 seconds. Yasuo Ito finished second at 2:36:46. Female marathon top 3 finishers. Tomomi Sawahata from Japan came in first at 3 hours, 1 minute, 18 seconds. Chris Lawrence finished second from Guam at 3 hours, 11 minutes, 31 seconds. First place male half marathon winner Takumi Hasabe from Japan at 1 hour, 12 minutes. Masaki Sasaki from Japan came in second at 1:17:25. Female half marathon winner Reiko Koshi at 1:29:22 from Japan. You can check out complete race results on UnitedGuamMarathon.com. Organizers have already set the date for UGM 2020 for April 5th. 28 female lifters ages 16 to 65 took part in the Deadlift and Dames fundraising competition held at Still Athletics. Funds raised from the event will go to Harvest House. The competitors were broken up into 3 flights and had 3 attempts to lift their target weights for deadlift. The competition was set up close to an actual lift meet. Deadlift and Dames celebrated women and encouraged women empowerment. Most of the lifters who hit the platform competed for the very first time. Big shout out to everyone who showed up. SBD Guam, Health City, Keep Pushing, Original Strength, Hafaloa, Salinas Beauty Works, Bongdozas, 671 Barba, and Still Athletics for hosting the event. In national news, Tiger Woods won his 15th major championship, shooting a 13 under and winning this year's Masters. Woods last captured a major title back in 2008 and hadn't won that green jacket since 2005. Tiger is in second only to Jack Nicklaus with 18 major championships and one behind Nicklaus when it comes to those green jackets. Tiger also became the second oldest to win the Masters, again behind Nicklaus, who was 46 when he won back in 1986.
I had, serious doubts after, what transpired a couple of years ago. I could barely walk. I couldn't sit, couldn't lay down. I really couldn't do much of anything. Luckily, I had the procedure on my back, which gave me a chance at, having a normal life. But then all of a sudden I realized I could actually swing a golf club again. And I felt if I could somehow piece this together, that I still had the hands to do it. The body's not the same as it was, a long time ago, but I still have good hands.